I had nowhere to go, no one to tell anything.
It's like, I don't even know why I did it. I don't know what, like, possessed me to have to make fun of someone.
I didn't think anyone thought anything of me, but that I was fat and that I was stupid.
Maybe I thought making fun of Sarah was cool, or that would make me have more friends or something.
I just remember thinking that no one liked me, that I had no one.
She was like, you guys are like really hurting me, and maybe that was like our goal.
Ashley bullied Sarah relentlessly. Ashley and some of her friends made Sarah's life miserable for years.
They saw what she was doing and they know that they didn't want that on them, so they just figured we'll do whatever Ashley wants. We just figured we'll be cool, whatever cool is. And cool was not talking to me.
The bullying got so bad that Sarah didn't want to go to school.
I wanted to stay home in my bed with the comforter pulled way over my head.
And she'd be like, I cried myself to sleep at night because you guys, like, I can't believe you guys are doing this to me. And you're just like really mean to her, I guess.
Why do you think bullying is so common among teens? Bullying is one of the most common forms of school violence. As many as 3 in 10 students are victimized by bullies, or are bullies themselves.
Dear Miss Rush, I'm writing this letter in order for you to understand just what I go through each and every day.
Tony was bullied mercilessly at school for years.
It's inhumane what some of the kids will do to you. They'll throw stuff at you, they'll hit you, they'll call you names. They won't stop. It doesn't matter what you do, they're not going to stop.
Tony tried to ignore the bullying, but he also wanted it to stop.
I wish that there was some kind of a magic pill you can take, but there isn't.
Tony finally reached the breaking point and fought his tormentors.
These things can get to be very dangerous. They can get out of hand. And not only can you be in danger, but if you take it so much without getting any solution, you might find yourself being aggressive in a way that puts other people at danger and then causes a lot of problems for you.
Tony's actions got him suspended from school. In his letter to the principal, Tony tried to explain what led to his violent outburst.
Each day as I walk through the doors, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to be in a fight or a quarrel. But all I know is that each day and every day, I will be teased and taunted. I am put through the worst possible type of punishment for what is not my fault, and I live with it every day.
While Tony eventually did ask for help, it is better to ask before the bullying leads to a fight.
If it seems that it's going to get out of hand or continue, then that's where you need to start getting some help. That's not an easy thing to do, but if you're bullied, it is important to do that early on.
What could Tony have done instead of fighting? He could have asked for help from an adult.
It seems often embarrassing to go to a teacher or to your parents to get help. Those who are bullied need someone to stand up for them, basically. And adults are much more effective at that.
After Tony was suspended, he talked with his parents who were very supportive. Now, Tony has some advice for people who bully. Think about your victim.
Walk a mile in their shoes before you judge them. Otherwise, you don't know what it's like to be them. You don't know how much they get harassed. You don't know how much they get abused. So why add to it?
Why do some people become bullies?
I think a bully happens because of other people's insecurities about themselves. They feel as if they pick on somebody else who's not as confident and doesn't have any self-confidence about themselves. They feel powerful.
I used to get off on the power, you know, because I could do stuff that other people can't. And I would punch them, hit them, make fun of them. People were afraid of me. They would
turn around if they see me coming and go back the other way.
Bullies behave the way they do, one, because they can. Often people have not said to them, stop this won't be tolerated. But two, because they have been bullied. It's learned behavior, and often the put-downs that they receive get translated into put-downs of other people.
Can learning why someone is a bully somehow make it easier to deal with the abuse?
If you're bullied, understand that you don't deserve that behavior. There is something wrong, but it's not wrong with you. It's wrong with the other person. That it doesn't come from the way you look or the way you act, that this person behaves that way for some other reasons.
It's just like a little cycle. You get abused, and then you're going to grow up to be an abuser. In a way, it made me feel like I was invincible because nobody would stand up to me. But then all that changed.
Robert realized the pain he was causing others.
The people I hurt, when I was hurting them, I was really hurting myself. And I didn't realize it until I started thinking about it and looking back on what I did.
Now, Robert has advice for victims of bullying.
If somebody's bullying you, all you got to do is tell your teacher or staff that works at that school.
So I tell the kids, if you go to a counselor and you don't get what you want, follow it up with the assistant principal. If that doesn't do it, go to the principal and keep working your way up the ladder and get your parents involved too. You really don't have to stand for this.
When Allison was a student at this high school, a walk down the hall was frightening.
I'd be walking down the hallway and be like, Allison, you can take your mask off. It's not Halloween anymore. Or Allison, you're so ugly, no guy would ever kiss you.
Classmates called her all kinds of names.
Oh, it was awful. I'd go home crying when I got home from school.
Allison's mother says the harassment began in the 3rd grade, not because Allison was ugly or strange, but because she was vulnerable. They were new to town, and Allison's father had just died of cancer.
She didn't have a dad when she came here. I think that she was going through a lot of trauma at the time, and I think so in some ways she kind of got a reputation right away as someone you could really pick on and make upset.
Bullies are real good at picking victims. There's almost a radar, and they almost stalk her.
When Allison moved into her new school, bullies made it impossible for her to make friends. A group of girls made fun of other teens for being Allison's friend. Even when new students transferred to Allison's school, they would quickly learn that if they did not want to be harassed, they should not be in Allison's company.
And by a week later, they'd be like, Allison, sorry, stop following me. That's what they always would say. Allison, you have to stop following us. You're following us around. You gotta stop.
Finally, in 10th grade, the harassment became sexual. There were wild rumors.
Because of this, like I'm a slut. People would call me hoe and slut and da-da-da. So it got to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. Like people were just being like really sexually harassing me, like making me fun of me for it.
The public exposure and harassment, as in that example, that has its own particular pain because everybody knows, so all of the anxieties that kids have about fitting in and other people thinking negatively of them, those are exacerbated in that kind of situation of public humiliation.
Allison's mom found a way to help her daughter fight back.
It's hard to do, but if it is happening to you, go tell the dean, go tell the principal. I'd write everything down, writing down everything that these kids are doing to you and handing it over as documents that, here, these are what these kids are doing to me.
Allison and her mom filed reports with the school and they named the harassers. The school district eventually agreed to start a committee to address bullying and sexual harassment on school grounds.
It can be addressed through school programs. It can be addressed through the atmosphere, through the environment in the school.
It is helpful when schools take a prevention approach to the problem of bullying or violence even generally. More importantly, where generous, empathetic behavior is rewarded. That is part of the school climate that can be very effective in reducing the bully and reducing the power of the bully in that setting.
Allison and her mom looked for a new school with a different environment. one that did not tolerate bullying and sexual harassment. They found one, and
for once, you know, guys came up to me and complimented me, you know, for once people wanted to be my friends, you know, people wanted to, you know, actually come up to me and see how I was doing, how my day was going. I never had any of that before, and it was really nice for once in my life to finally get the treatment that I deserve.
Allison learned a crucial lesson that every teen should know. Bullying is never the victim's fault. There's another form of bullying that doesn't involve face-to-face contact, but it can be just as damaging as traditional forms of bullying. Trisha is a victim of cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is bullying that takes place by email, instant messaging, text messaging, or at websites.
I went to check my email and I found out that I had like 300 emails saying that I was a whore and everything. It was scary for a while. I mean, if a lot of people did think that about me, I was like, oh my gosh.
Experts say cyberbullying is becoming more and more common.
And all you have to do is hit that send key and it's done. And with cyberbullying, it doesn't stop. It often grows, and one comment leads to another, and you never know when it's going to come back.
What are the best ways to stop it?
Teaching them to think about how they would feel. What if the tables were turned? What if they were the one being bad-mouthed and nasty emails were going out, or rumors or IMs going off on everybody's cell phones?
Trisha decided the best strategy for her was to ignore the cyber threats. But that doesn't always work.
It depends on the situation. There's some things that you can ignore, and if it does not stop, then you obviously are forced into a situation where you have to confront it.
With cyberbullying, you have an advantage. You will have written examples of the bullying to show adults who can track down and confront the bullies.
It's important for teens to understand that just because something is happening on the internet, it doesn't become less of a crime. It doesn't become less painful. It doesn't become less of an assault. In fact, it probably becomes more of a documentable assault and potentially a crime.
I just wanted it all to come to a screeching halt.
Ashley led the group of teens who bullied Sarah. Eventually, it stopped. Why? It helped that Sarah found some friends who supported her.
And once I made friends with 2 or 3 people really well and we had fun, then it doesn't seem so bad.
And Ashley gradually changed over time.
So I guess like over the years, I just kind of like changed and like got like a closer group of friends so that I knew that I like didn't have to be different around them and didn't have to be mean to them.
Ashley even apologized to Sarah.
I don't know how I could have been so mean to a wonderful person like you. Because I guess I never gave you a chance, because I guess I was just a mean person.
I think Ashley knows I forgive her, and I hope she knows. But,
I do.
And I know she is sorry.
It's not worth it. It just like hurts you in the long run. It's going to be with the other person for a long time, but it's going to hurt you the most. To know that you were so mean to that person. And you had no reason to do it.
What's the best way to prevent yourself from becoming a victim? Students at Sarah and Ashley's school decided to form an anti-bullying committee after another student in their school was relentlessly bullied. One of their teachers supervises it.
So let's do some brainstorming and talk about what the vision will be.
In your class and in our class, there's different types of bullying, and so you'll be handling it with different types of ways.
So I think, yeah, if there's hardly any tolerance, then maybe people will think twice before they do it.
The committee passes out anti-bullying pamphlets, produces anti-bullying videos, and tries to teach other students what to do when they see someone being victimized.
Bystanders, the best thing for them to do is just to draw attention away from that person. Just give them a break, just give them a breather, and then talk to them, or maybe suggest that they go talk to someone else that can really help the situation altogether.
I think it is important to understand that as a concerned bystander, you are not expected to put yourself in danger or at risk. That standing up when there is a verbal assault on someone is important, but if it looks as if there's going to be a physical assault, then it's always important to get the adult.
Sarah found some friends who banded together to help deflect attention away from the bullying. It worked.
And I guess I'm lucky because I guess it could have gone on. I bet it really could have. I think that it has sort of in a way taught me to be a better friend and to be there for other people. And I think that in everyday life and in the school classrooms that I'm in now, I can always think back to that and be like, I know how I felt and I know how this person's gonna feel.
What do you think could be done to control bullying at your school?